whatever. Other questions?
Can you talk a little bit more about exit strategies? I keep thinking you're like, you know, like call it quits plan or something.
I'm sorry?
I keep thinking it's like a failure, like a preparation to fail plan.
Oh, no. The exit strategy is very, very normal in all your technology companies. Have to have one. Because venture capitalists go into and give 10 or 20 or 30 million dollars into a tech company. They want to know how they're going to get that out. Yeah. What is your plan? Our plan is to drive the company to $250 million, $300 million in sales. At that point, we're going to consider a merger with XYZ Corporation, or we're going to maybe do an IPO. And a lot of times they want to do an IPO, but the market doesn't support it because of bad times. So there's a couple strategies you may want. Okay, IPO, merger, maybe just do that management buyout and pay them out over time.
So when the investors going to get their money back?
Exactly, the investors want to know when they're going to get the money back. In fact, last night on the Shark Tank, one of the big questions with this one gentleman was that bad guy I told you about, the real jerk. He couldn't tell him. He said, I never gave money back in 7 years to my investors. The one guy said, 7 years? That's an eternity. I would never invest with you. I want to know I'm going to get my money back. I want to see it in 7 years. Most angels want their money in 5, no more than 7 years max. Same thing with venture capitalists today. They want their money back. They want a little bit more than angels usually in a way of return. But they want the money back. They don't want to be in there forever. They want to get it out and move on and get a bigger deal. Okay? Whether it's a Google or a Facebook or whatever, right? Wouldn't that be nice? No. Other questions? Rick, almost his hand up, but.
I was just wondering if you're trying to analyze the industry and the trending and the growth, like what they want to open a restaurant downtown, how do you go about finding out a lot of those things? Do you ask questions of people that own restaurants, or how do you?
A lot of different ways. That's one, absolutely. I had a young lady that wanted to do a yarn store, and there's 2 yarn stores, or 3 here in Anchorage already, and she literally went around to all of them and said, I just want to know about your business, and she didn't tell them she was doing. She was just saying she was working on a project for the university, which she was. She didn't lie. She didn't want to tell them she was going into business, but she learned everything about them. How they got started, how much money they pulled in. She had every bit of data that she needed by just talking to them. Now for a restaurant, AEDC, the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation, has a lot of information on the website about retail and other things. You may find some information there, okay? And then, I don't know if they do the restaurants, but what's the local paper, the one paper that comes out? Not the Alaska Business, but it's a paper. They just had the list of the biggest hotels here last month, and ranked them by how many rooms they had, what kind of revenues they got, how many employees they had. You can find out information through those. There's in Atlanta, for instance, where I came from, every year they put out the book of the list. And it listed every type of business almost you could think of, and the sizes and how many employees and their revenues and all those, and who was the owner or the manager or the chairman of that company. There's information out there.
The Journal of Commerce and the Alaska Business.
Journal of Commerce is the one. That's the one. Thank you. Because that's the one that has these lists in it from time to time. Okay? Now, for the restaurants, you can probably talk to a lot of people that have worked in restaurants, too. They got a pretty good understanding of what's going on and how big they may be or whatever. You'd be surprised. You know, there's information out there. You got to dig for it. Now, I do say there's the internet, right? Everybody uses the internet, right? Anybody ever use the old internet? Yeah, thank you. The old library. The library is the old internet. They are like the Maytag repairmen in there. They want to see you. Go in and ask the librarian. She may be able to say, look, actually we do have some information from a restaurant trade magazine over here that 2 years ago listed all the Anchorage restaurants. I don't know, but it could, you know, they know. They have data coming out of the, you know, whatever. I mean, seriously, they do, and they would love to see you. I tell my students, please, just go talk to them. They're professionals, they're librarians, they would love to see you. And by the way, we have 2. We have 2 libraries, not just the consortium, we got LUSAC. 2. Go to them.
Hey, can I mention one other source? I've been working with the Small Business Development Center, and they always point people to the NAICS code, the NAICS.
Yeah, NAICS, yeah.
Yeah, for know, like nationwide data. On different
That's true too. Again, exactly. You get there, every business has a code. You gotta, you know, in fact, if a lot of vendors and others will ask you, what is your NASAX code? And you put it down there, what industry you're in, and you can get good information from that. There's ways to get it. You gotta dig a little.
Olive used to go down to the small business development center.
That's another one, exactly. And Isaac will be here, Isaac Vandenberg will be here this afternoon talking about that. Talk to him if you have any questions, and maybe see him, because he's got obviously great knowledge about the SBDC. Okay? Yes?
On the use of the library, you will find that there is a lot of historical data that, contrary to popular belief, has not been digitized, and the only way you're going to find it is either hard copy, microfiche, and some of the other forms that people have lost contact with.
Now, is there anything wrong with that?
Digitized.
Anything wrong with that? I like the old way.
Yeah, but there's,
Right, you're
especially
right.
if it's published by the government printing office, U.S. government printing office, not all that, in fact, the minority of it has been digitized.
Oh, I agree, totally. But you know what's great? They'll take you to it, though.
Yeah.
They'll walk you over, and here's the microfilm, go check this out, or here's the magazines you want to look at for 2 years. It may give you restaurant information or whatever. And the librarians are obviously professionals at what they do. They really do know and want to help. I mean, that's their job, their role. So it's a good way to get information. SBDC, AEDC, all these places are out there that can help you, okay? If you have questions,
Is another one.
what?
Alaska Source Link is another one.
Ah, exactly, Alaska Source Link. Lots of places. If you have any questions, talk to people like Christy or Rick or Scott or myself and others. We kind of work with some of these groups and know others and can help guide you. And always ask. People want to help, believe me. It's not, I mean, look, all of the people here, why we're doing this, we want to help you get started. We absolutely want to help. Forget it, Scott. No. What's up, Scott?
There's a site I've developed, it's called practical-entrepreneurship.org, and out there are hundreds of articles, spreadsheets, links, just on a myriad of entrepreneurial topics. So it's out there, it's just free, it's on the web, and it's all the stuff I've collected over a long period of time.
My back.
Put out there. So it's practical-entrepreneurship.org.
Good.
Or .com.
Rick, in the corner.
Just and another resource, before you start working on your business plan, I encourage all of you to go online and download something called the Business Model Canvas. And it's a PDF, poster size. There's some software companies who are developing sort of a digitized version of this, or an interactive version of it. But it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday about stronger and weaker business ideas. And it shows you how your value, it gets you thinking about how your value proposition is connected to your customer relationships, the resources that you need, your cost structure, your revenue streams. But it gets you thinking about things before you even start the business plan. It'll help you start on a better business plan than what you might have started on when you look at this first. So just a suggestion. Business Model Canvas. Just do a search for Business Model Canvas, and you'll find it. Or we can put it up on akbizplan.org. And speaking of akbizplan.org, Al was talking about social media. If you missed Elisa Sherman's presentation, that presentation is also up on akbizplan.org from Media Egg.
Thank you, that's good, that's good. Any other questions? Anything at all? Yes?
When you find different research material, like journals, articles, etc., do you have to create like a works cited or bibliography?
If you're in there and you're saying about the trends, and I would tell them, yeah, where did I get that information from? Because again, people want to know that you've done the research and that it's accurate research. It's not just an idea of how big the industry is. I'd want that noted as to where you got that industry size, because a lot of times, I'm fooled by how big certain things are, how small they may be, and having that would be good. Yes?
So the board of advisors, directors, I'm interested in that. Can you tell them about how you'd go about developing that or finding the people for that, or who it should be filled with?
Well, the board of advisors are people who you probably have come across that you've always already thought of as being a person that you can rely on for information business, somebody you went to school with, somebody that owns their own business already. Maybe it's an uncle who had a business and is retired. Could be anybody. You got to kind of search your Rolodex and say, hey, who is it that may have information about this business or about finance that can help me? And you certainly want somebody in the different areas. You don't want 3 board of advisors. They're all financial gurus, right? You may have somebody that knows finance, somebody else that's a marketing person, somebody else that's done operations, or is just a solid all-around business person that can give you good, solid advice. You really are looking for advice. Now, do you always take that advice? No. I tell everybody I work with, look, I got opinions and advice, but you don't have to take it. I'm just one person. And then certainly I'm not always right. You got to take it with, with others and meld that in with everything you know. But the board of advisors is a great sounding board, especially for when you have issues about, should I expand into this new market? What do you think if I change the color of my product? Okay? Because colors actually in some products mean a lot. I don't know, it's really weird, but there's studies done on what color an iPod should be, and all, black versus silver, what sells more, should you do that? So talk to people that have an understanding. We have right now in the company I'm working with, I'm a board of advisors, we have a marketing person, and we have some other people who are just good business people that can give us advice, and we bounce it off of them. I'll call them up, or the president will call them up and get advice. Okay? Again, people will want to help. You'd be surprised how many people take it as a badge of honor for you to have asked them to be their board of advisor, one of their advisors. What better way? I love it when people say, hey, you want to be an advisor? If I got the time, I say, sure, let me know about what I can do to help. Love to help. People want to do that. Most people. No, it's 80-20 rule now, all right? And probably 20% of the people are too busy or don't want to, don't care. 80% of the people I've always run across would definitely say, yeah, I'll help. I'll give you the support you need. And you're not going to call them forever, maybe a couple times a month or once a month or whatever it is. It's not like you're going to be asking them to come to meetings every week and all that. Okay? And you can't overdo it too, by the way, especially if you don't pay them. Okay? You're probably not going to pay them. Most times they don't get paid. Does that answer it or not? I'm sorry, I don't know if I answered your question. Okay? And more, we can talk outside of this too if you have some more. Any other questions? How many people want a copy of this business plan? Whoa, okay. I'll have to go over there. I'm going to make copies. I'll run over and make copies of this. I know some of you already have it. A couple people. I thought you have it. So you do. You got it, right?
It's fine.
Yeah, you do. I gave it to you last when you came in. Okay, yeah.
Actually, can you put a copy of that on the AK Biz electronically also, or is that?
You want? Can we do that?
Yes.
So it saved me from. Can we do that fairly quickly?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yes.
I can't. That's what I'm asking. I just want to make sure you'll do it.
Yes.
You heard them. Witnesses. I've got it here. We'll put it on there, okay? We'll get.
There's these internets. Seriously.
All right. There's always a smart aleck in the room. I'm supposed to be the smart aleck, not him. I do know something about the web. I don't know. I know you get scared. Let's just put it out there. Yeah. All right. We'll get it out there. I'll still make a few copies because some of us older people like hard copy. Now, I will make some copies too and bring them back, okay? Fair enough?
Unrelated question.
Sure.
Can you touch a little bit more on the management gaps? I think I missed.
Management gaps, well, again, I've never been in a business where we've had everybody we've ever needed to run that business well. Even when we had 6 people starting a business, we had 4 engineers, we had a a sales guy, and myself, financial operations. We didn't have marketing. We had to go out and get a lady. This lady was very good at marketing. We found the right person. She came on board and became a member of the team. We had to have marketing. Yeah, that was a gap we had when we got started. So we knew that, and we had in our plan that said, hey, let's look for a great marketing Actually, we need somebody with graphic arts experience too. So we need that combination, which you don't find all the time. So it was a little bit more of a just pure marketing and pure graphic arts. We wanted somebody with a combination of being able to do some graphic stuff for us and do the marketing with brochures and things of that nature. The website, helping with the website development, etc. That none of us had experience with. Okay? All right? So does that explain that? Because always, almost always, there's going to be somewhere, Now, you can outsource, by the way. It'd be foolish of you to go out and hire an accountant for a really small business. You go out and outsource that. until you got big enough to get it. Okay? It's like payroll. You know, do you want to do your own payroll or outsource? I can tell you right now, outsource your payroll. The cost of outsourcing your payroll is absolutely minimal, and it gives you a lot more time to run your business. It really does. Because payroll, if you've ever done it, is a pain. Even here, where you don't have a state income tax, it's still a pain. You got to do federal quarterlies and all the, you know, outsource certain things. Okay? You don't have to have it all in-house. Because if you had somebody that did your books in-house and you had them do payroll, it's going to take them 2 days a month. They can do other things for you, I think, in the startup, rather than doing run-of-the-mill payroll stuff. I advise everybody, and the studies show until you get to about 70 people, outsourcing payroll is the way to go. So there's things you'll outsource: accounting, payroll, certain other things that you'll outsource. Maybe you know, delivery services. If you got to take stuff back, you don't have to have your own truck and your own driver. Employ some people to do that for a while until you get big enough, and you say it makes sense financially to bring it in-house. Okay? I'm sorry?
Outsource legal as well.
Oh, yeah, outsource legal. Yeah, you don't want to, God forbid, you know, legal services. Yeah, you outsource that to a point, and if you get really big, then you want a lawyer on site, because they're not going to kill you for the hour. You got to be really big to have a lawyer on site, though. But yeah, you got to do it. We'll talk about infrastructure. We'll talk about legal. You're right. Legal's a good one to outsource, obviously. Yes?
I'm going to need to make a tape change here, Al.
Oh, I'm done, unless you have more questions. Any more questions? All right, let's take a nice break, and I'll get this for you, okay? Thank you.